welcome back, guys, to Leo Gaming. Today we are on episode 2 of our trip down memory lane on Tuesday. That's right, guys, we are taking a trip down memory lane of a game that I have very fond memories of playing with my best friend at the time, and it always brings back some memories of the old MS-DOS days. And it's not the first, but one of the first shooters that defined the genre that's set up for the modern first-person shooter games today. And that game, in case you can't see or haven't already guessed it, is Doom. You see, Doom is a first-person shooter game released in 1993 by id Software for Microsoft DOS. In case any of you don't know what MS-DOS is, it's the original running program for PCs back in the day before we had Windows. You assume the role of a space marine known as the Doom Guy, fighting your way through hordes of invading demons from hell. It all began in 1992, where id Software had released Wolfenstein 3D, later known as the grandfather of 3D shooters. Soon after its release, and a few episodes later, the team wanted to create another 3D game using a new engine. After some to-ing and fro-ing, they settled on a concept with a darker theme using technology to fight demons. The original name for this concept was going to be Green and Pissed. Well, so everybody thought. In fact, Green and Pissed was going to be the original name for Wolfenstein 3D. Doom was always going to be, Doom. Development began in 1992 and was composed of 4 people: John Carmack and John Romero, programmers, Adrian Carmack and Kevin Cloud, the artists. They moved to a dark office building and named it Suite 666. Noises from the dentist next door would be inspiration for the team. Then from there, Doom was born. God, this game brings back so many memories. I just remember me and my best friend. We would constantly stay at each other's houses. More so at his house because he had the better PC at the time, and we would have the Master System in the bedroom and the PC in the hallway just outside of the bedroom, with one of us playing the Master System and one of us playing Doom on the PC, and we would keep swapping over. Similar to how kids are now with their mobiles, where you sort of separated. Back then it was the Master System and the PC that you'd have separate rooms and be sitting completely separate. I mean, it's just such a fantastic game. I do remember finding it very, very difficult though. Especially at the age of 8. I mean, now it seemed a lot easier, but back then it was definitely felt a lot harder, especially some of the enemies in order to know where to go. It was very difficult to navigate. Although I don't remember on the map being able to move yourself via the map screen as well, which you could do on this version. This is obviously from the Xbox version, but I can't remember if you could do that on the original. I can't really remember, but it was such a difficult map to navigate, but it was genius at the same time because it gave you that opportunity to try and explore and to discover all the different secrets and stuff like that. It was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it was, especially for the time, it was when games were very sort of 2D, sort of side-scrolling games. This was like, especially after Wolfenstein, and this was with the new engine as well, which upped the graphics. I mean, I don't remember the gore. I forgot about how much blood there was. There was so much blood. I mean, was there? I can't remember. Was there age ratings back then? Because we was only 8 when we was playing this, and although games back then the blood wasn't very realistic, but it was nice, bright red, but very cartoony. And all the characters sort of were the sort of 16-bit sprite characters, but the environments were the more realistic part of the game rather than the actual characters or the blood. I mean, there's blood, but it's sort of very bright, luminous red, isn't it? Almost like glowing. But it was just so, I mean, it was just like a game that it was difficult. I mean, these were difficult. I mean, they were one of the first enemies, but when you first found them at the time, it was because you couldn't aim up or down. It's literally, you couldn't aim up or down. There was no free movement apart from your feet, moving wherever you want to go. It was, you couldn't look up or down, and you could only shoot straight ahead, even if the enemy was above or below you. Almost like if an actor, in a film was taking a shot, and the person who was receiving the bullet forgot their cue to drop, like that sort of thing. That's what it feels like. But it was mad. It was so difficult. Again, this is another example of how games back then were a lot more difficult because you didn't have the mechanics that you have now, i.e. looking up or down. So if you was on a platform up, very clever though, because they did use sound to give you a hint that someone was there. Like you'd hear the odd grunt or hear the odd sort of whoosh sound where someone shot a fireball. So if you was up on a platform and someone was right below you, you could hear, which gave you that inkling. I think they sort of used that to counteract the fact that you couldn't look up or down to see if there was actually anybody there. But it was definitely a sort of classic game. I mean, I just remember it was always late Friday or Saturday night, staying up late and getting up to play Doom, or getting up early to play Doom also, which did eventually lead to us both playing Quake. We did play Quake quite a lot, but it was just absolutely amazing. I mean, I just remember the first time I saw the man on the pike like there. Oh, it was like, oh my God, look at this. This is just, no. And you sort of tried to hide it from your parents because you thought, if they see this, they won't let me play it. Because it was like, back then it was like computer games were for geeks sort of thing, almost like for nerds. That was the concept. So I think a lot of parents thought that computer games were for geeks, and so they didn't really check what sort of content was on them because you just assumed it would be geeky stuff. I think that's what a lot of parents checked, because I remember my parents didn't check what content was on a lot of the games I was playing on the Mega Drive or even the PlayStation 1. Or even some of these PC games like Doom. They didn't check it. I'm pretty sure if they saw some of this, they would have probably said, no, you're not playing that. But so you try to hide it. You switch the PC screen off as they're walking in. Oh, the joys. But no, it was classic. I mean, if you have a look here, can you see it? Have a look closely. Look really, really close. Straight ahead. You'll see a secret in a minute. Can you see it? Keep looking. Sorry guys, that was my inspiration from the dentist next door. No, I mean, talking about secrets, there was a lot of secrets that you had to find. A lot of them I couldn't find. This is what I was talking about in terms of the map. I mean, the level design is absolutely testament to the fact that they could hide so many different secrets in different secret rooms. I mean, you had things like where the walls themselves, you would slightly tell because there'd be a slight discoloration within that wall section, but you had to really look for it. And, in terms of where the secrets are and secret doors are. I mean, these demon minotaurs were absolutely difficult. Even now, I kept dying. I couldn't do them. I kept dying. This was the difficulty of the game. Absolutely difficult. But it was testament to the sort of the AI of the. You know what, guys? I'm gonna break a fourth wall here. You just heard a car zooming past where I live. And you know, when you're sort of in the middle of recording, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to leave that in. I listened to it back, and the sound effect actually sounds quite good. So I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll leave that in as a little sound effect. Oh, it really annoys me though when you try to record and something like that happens. I mean, the roads are quiet, yet you've got this car absolutely darting past me. I hope he gets pulled over. Yeah, so like I say, the difficulty level was quite different. I mean, the HUD itself was genius as well. I mean, you only have to look. This is where you first started getting all your HUD elements, the ammo, the health, the face as well. You don't get that anymore at all. The face itself, I mean, just look at those eyebrows. I mean, the facial expressions on that little face on the HUD, where his eyebrows keep lifting up and down. And the good thing is when you took damage, it also showed him sort of like almost hurting it in pain sort of thing. It was quite a good concept. I mean, I can't remember if Wolfenstein had it, but it was quite a really good concept for this game, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's such a good way to determine your health. Well, even though you've got the health bar, the sort of health digit next to it, it still, you know, gave you that sort of visual look of, because you couldn't see your character's face sort of thing. Anyway, guys, that is, I think, the end of my trip down memory lane with Doom. I mean, this is again one of many games that I will be doing a trip down memory lane. There are so many that I've got, more so than others, but this is just one of the many games. Classic, absolute classic Doom. This is, I mean, the new ones are really, really good, but you can never take it away from the old ones. It was what began it all, really. Anyway, guys, that is the end of my second episode 2 of Retro Tuesday. My next video will be another review, and then after that will be the next Retro Tuesday. So if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy my content and you want to see more, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and remember to check out my previous Retro Tuesday on Sonic the Hedgehog, and that is up on your screen right now. And I hope you all have enjoy the rest of your weeks. I will try to. I've got my boy this week, so it's going to be a busy one for me. And yes, have a nice week, ladies and gentlemen, and goodbye.